Hi there, it's Dina at the Realize Foundation. Today I'm here with Jeremy, or JD, and we are going to talk about how he has experienced healing through basketball. So it's going to be a cool conversation because I actually got to go play basketball with Jeremy in Arizona and got to sign his basketball. So we're going to talk about all of that. So, welcome, Jeremy. If you want to introduce yourself or say anything else, please go for it.
Oh, no, thank you very much. And yeah, it's JD Lesky, and not only did she and her husband come and play basketball with me, they both humiliated me and beat me mercilessly. So it reminded me never to invite them to come shoot basketball with me again. All right, thank you. But
I
we
don't
had a
know
lot
if
of
that's
fun.
true.
Did you have a lot of fun doing it?
It was. It was a lot of fun. I played basketball in high school, which I'm not going to say how many years ago that was,
Just a couple.
but it was really fun to have a basketball in my hand again and actually make a basket.
Yeah, so I know this is kind of about me, but how did it make you really feel like getting back on the basketball court and shooting the basketball?
It kind of brought me back to when I was 15 and I was playing basketball in high school and you don't really forget how to dribble a basketball. Like that's something you learn and you know forever.
Yeah, it's been a great experience for me. For anybody out there wanting to know, I got into basketball because in Scars to Stars #1 and Volume 2, I talk about this more. But I have 12 stints in my heart. I was a very active person before. Did a lot of weightlifting. Carried a cross actually the length of Illinois, and I really relied on my strength and everything. So at 35, I ended up having chest pains and went into the hospital, and they told me that I had the arteries of a 75-year-old. And then they ended up putting 5 stents in my heart, and I had a stroke. So at 35 years old, my whole world turned upside down. And since then, I have gone through a roller coaster of not just the physical part of that, the mental, and trying to move forward in life. And one thing or another has been going on in life, and just kind of feels like, after time, you get beat down, and then I started limiting myself more and more on what I could do. And I can't tell you how many nights that I went to bed with a lot of chest pain, and I'm wondering, am I going to wake up tomorrow? Is this a time where I should be calling the hospital? Is this another false flag? Not knowing, and seeing so many people out there enjoying life while you're just sitting on a bench watching it. And I had told myself, I had convinced myself pretty much that a real active life and a normal life was done for me. And I work with a program. I have GPS to Life Success, as Dina knows. She's also a part of that. And the big thing with that program is to help people with their mindset. And here I was drowning in my own mindset. Yes, I was moving forward with other things in life, but that part of my life was still falling apart. And so what happened was I was with some friends one night, and they had gone. We went out to a basketball court, and I hadn't shot basketball in forever, and it was dark out, so it was great to have that excuse for missing every shot, which we all did anyway, which was fantastic. And we're out there and we're shooting around and everything. And I remember, just like Dina had talked about, it started bringing back some of the fun stuff I did as a kid. I was having some fun, I was having joy, and I was being active. Now, we weren't out there like one-on-one basketball. It was just standing around and shooting like horse, and things like that. However, it was just an amazing feeling. And I said, you know what? I want to take control of my life back. I deserve a good life, and I am going to go get it. So what I did was I went out and bought a basketball, and I committed to myself that I was going to shoot basketball every night. And I did. I went out. I started in November, and then I went out for a good solid 6 months shooting the basketball every single night, just going out to the court and shooting. And I noticed so much had changed in my life just doing that. You might think to yourself, well, really, how could just shooting a basketball help you a lot physically? A lot of times you think when you're getting back into shape, you have to run 500 miles until you drop, and need water, or, climb the tallest mountain, or do some crazy stuff, go in the gym for 5 hours straight and work out, all these things. That's what comes to mind. Just going out and doing something small, just doing something repetitive like that, had so many changes in my life. I never imagined how much doing something so small would impact my life, and not only my life, but other lives around me. So started shooting, and then I noticed when I first started, it was kind of like the Tin Man. That's kind of how I relate to it from The Wizard of Oz, where you kind of needed to oil all the joints were creaking and cracking, and I went to go move, and it was like, hold on, let me bend down and get the ball. Oh gosh, all right, it was so much from life just being, me being sedative most of the time, and sitting all the time and not really being active. And over those few months of doing it, all of a sudden I became more fluid again. I was able to move. I was able to bend down and grab something without turning it into a whole journey. Like, all right, I got to bend down and pick this up. Let me psychologically build myself up for what I have to endure just to bend over and pick something up. Let me get in the right position here, all that other stuff. Now I could sit there and the ball drops and I don't even think about it. You swoop down and you get the basketball in one movement while you're going, and just things like that a lot of people take for granted in life. And I saw more of, and I was able to get more endurance. I could stand and shoot longer and go further back. And I shot with the left hand and the right hand. My left hand is not as good as my right, but it's still a lot better than when I first started, which was me just trying to shoot with the left hand. And I thank God I was not filming during that time. There is no video evidence that I know of what it was like. But let me just say, it was pretty hilarious. I could tell if somebody were watching me, they were like, oh my gosh, they would have been embarrassed for me. But, over time that got a lot better, and I was able to coordinate with it. And that is just on the physical aspect of it. My endurance became a lot more. My confidence, I found myself standing up taller when I was walking again. I found myself in the grocery store from just shuffling through the aisles to actually taking strides through the aisles and walking quickly because I could now. And then I even found myself lightly jogging a little bit around the court, which is something I never thought I would see myself doing again. So it's been amazing transformation just from doing that. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen even more. Had to take a break because I injured my back really bad. And then I'm in Arizona where it's 9 million degrees in the summertime. And because of the heart issues, I am not going to be out there when it's 9 million degrees. But we're getting to the point where I can get back out soon.
That's great. I think it was, I don't know that I've ever tried to shoot a basketball with my left hand. I don't think that would go well for me, but yeah, it was fun to play. So I want to talk about your chapter in book 4. And yes. I know, like you said, you wrote in book 1 and 2, and those were very different stories. And I think the first one was more of an overview of your life that has a lot of things in it that are very interesting and hopeful for other people. But this story about basketball, I know you've talked a lot about it, but how is it different writing this story than the other two?
Wow. The other two, first, it was my first experiences writing my story out. I've told it a lot of times. We've actually covered this in the group. Telling your story compared to writing it is two different animals. And it really made me delve in deeper when I was doing those. Even with this one, believe it or not. And I even told Dina when I started, I said, I kind of made an outline and I threw it through ChatGPT to see what it would say. And of course, Dina gave me the eye roll, like, I know you didn't just say that. And I was, because I wanted the ideas and everything. And I was looking at what it wrote, and I tried to write the way kind of ChatGPT told me I should write, and it just didn't. I was like, man, this is just not, there. I wanted this to be more humorous. I wanted to bring my personality out a little bit more and have something that was lighthearted and fun. And so now I'm going to snitch on myself a little bit. I watched Deadpool before doing this. Now, not that I was doing some crazy stuff in there, but I like Ryan Reynolds' style when he tells his jokes, when he's in the middle of the story and he's addressing, and I'm like, you know what? That's what I want to do in my story. That's who I am. And so I actually had a lot more fun. I threw some more humor in on this and wanted it to be a very lighthearted story that instead of having people really crying and stuff, had people just laughing and being filled with so much joy. Not that the other stories in here will have you crying, they are just amazing stories, and they're so deep, and people are pouring things out that it just is so emotional. And this one, I just, like I said, wanted to make it lighthearted and fun. And having the encouragement or having the experience of doing it the first couple of times really helped me out tremendously when coming and doing this one. And so, as amazing as the other two were, I just had so much fun doing it this time.
Awesome. Awesome. I think it is true. Like the first time it's scary because people are talking about things that are vulnerable and personal, maybe something they haven't shared with even their family. And so it can be really daunting to write in one of these books. But I will say that all of the people who have written have been glad that they did. And it has given them healing. It has given them, in some cases, mending relationships with friends or family. And someone told me the other day that someone in their family has apologized to them after decades of things that were not right. And I'll save that for her interview. But just the things that come out of writing your story and being vulnerable has been unbelievable to me through these projects. So, Jeremy, would you talk a little bit about just the experience being in the project and the group, and like what, I know you've done it before, but I'm wondering if you've gotten anything different out of it this time or anything
Oh yeah,
new?
yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
just kind of cut you off there, so I'll
That's
wait
okay.
patiently. I'm sorry. I get so excited about talking about this stuff. It's great. I'm just like, all right, can I go yet? No, I'm. It's no. Dina knows, but she's worked with me a lot and puts up with me. Bless you, Dina, for all you do. The experience with this. One of the stories that I've shared with the group that I saw that was really amazing is I am constantly in the hospital. I was constantly in the hospital. Let's amend that. It has been now a year since I've been in the hospital. That's a huge thing for me. I mean, in the last 10 years when I've struggled with a lot of this stuff, I'd be celebrating if I went 6 months without being in the hospital. And there were times where I was in the hospital, get out for 2 weeks and back in the hospital again. So being out for an entire year is an amazing thing. But when I was in the hospital, one of the times that I was in there, I shared the book, The Scars to Stars Volume 1, I believe it was at that time. And I shared it with a lady that was one of the cleaning ladies in the hospital. She was going through some stuff. We were talking. I just so happened to have one nearby. And so, like I carry them around with me wherever I go. And just, I just happen to have it here. Anyway, so no, I gave it to this cleaning lady, and it was amazing. And we had a great talk. So the next time I came back, all of a sudden I saw the cleaning lady again, and she was so happy. She's like, "Oh yes, I love the story that you had in there. So many," and I shared them with people and everything. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's great. And you probably shared it with like one person, and you're just telling me that to make me feel better. That's kind of what goes through my mind because unfortunately in the world we know how that is. So, but I was very glad that she had read it and she had found some insight, and it really helped her with some stuff. So another time that I had come back to the hospital, I was going down for surgery. And then one of the ladies, she was like, "You look so familiar." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm kind of in here a lot. So maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm sure they have a room with my name on it. But no, she's like, I know you from somewhere. I know it. I know it." And then when I was going, she's like, "You're in that book." And I'm like, "The book?" She goes, "Yeah, you got that." She says, "It's up here." She says, "Yeah, it's been circulating through all these other people." And there were a couple of nurses that came and talked to me. "I read the book." And I'm going, wow, it actually did get circulated. And not only did it get circulated, people actually were learning from it and healing. And it was an amazing thing. And so coming into this book, after seeing just that limited view that I got, was something that was just amazing and transformational for me. And it just made me want to be a part of this project even more right now. Because, we have talked numerous times about this book being all out there for so many people to be able to reach them and seeing the impact and seeing the stories. And I actually had a lady even that reached out to me that was a friend of a friend of the family, friend of a friend of a family. And she said, "Hey," she says, "I want you to know that I read your chapter in the book." What? Now this lady messes me out of nowhere on Facebook, and she says, "Oh yeah," she says, "this one people that I work with, and they are the friends of my parents. She said, "Oh yeah, they loved it. They read it, and they loved your story, and then they've been sharing your story with everybody." Wow, that is so cool. It's amazing. It's humbling. It's so many different emotions mixed in at the same time when you hear stuff like that. And that just makes you know that everything you have gone through is definitely worth it, because right now our voices are being heard, our stories are being heard, and people are finding healing and comfort from it. And that is just something that's so amazing. So, yeah.
That's awesome. It
Yeah, I
is.
don't even
It's
remember the
cool.
original question. I just kind of went completely off on my own little tangent there.
It's okay. I think it's awesome. Um, just the amount of feedback that I've gotten over the last 3 years with these books, and it's never like a personal like email saying this is great. It's never something like that. It's always like a text or a Facebook message, and it's usually either the person who read something that they're like, man, this story really helped me, or it's somebody telling me that they gave a book to someone else and how much it helped that person. And it's just so cool how people will read some stories and then they'll just give it to somebody else, or they'll buy books and donate them. And so we hear things from all over the place that I don't even always know the person's name. I just get messages about how it helps people. And so it's really cool, and I wish there was a way I could track it better, but it's definitely, these books are definitely providing hope to people in the world, and the message that you're not alone in whatever struggle you're going through. And it's just so important and so cool to hear the feedback, even if you don't have all the details or know who it came from.
Absolutely, man. And I'm sure, like I said, I only heard a few, and I know you probably heard so many more. And that is what's so awesome. We have no idea how much of an impact this is really making. Right now, this could be changing thousands of lives, and we're completely
Mhm.
oblivious to it. And that's what's amazing with this. It's not something that we have to sit here and get recognition for. It's not something that we're demanding. Hey, you've gotta acknowledge that we changed your life, anything like that. And all we care about is that this just reaches people and it changes their lives, and that's it. And
That's true.
and it's amazing, and it's part of that. And that's the other thing, that dealing with this basketball, it wasn't just a journey, of healing for myself, physically. It was a healing mentally, and I talk about that a little bit in the book. Whereas, when I've had a lot of anger and resentment towards my father, and because there was a lot of negative things that happened, but there was good times as well with my dad, and sometimes our negative thoughts kind of drown out the good thoughts. And when I was a kid, I, kind of a good thought. When I was a kid, we had a basketball hoop at the house, and I shot at it every now and then. Just wasn't a big fan. But when I was grounded for a little while, and it was towards the ending of my grounding, or like a week before, my dad would go, "Okay, I will shoot you, double or nothing. Best first one to get to 10. For being grounded." And it would be like, okay. And then usually, almost every time, I would lose, and then it would and you would be like, all right, we'll do double and nothing again, and double and nothing, because he's trying to help me out here. And he got to the point where he was trying to throw them for me, but I'd be grounded. I'd worked myself up to where I was grounded for like 2 years or something like that, and then finally I'd win and get it all knocked out. Yay. But it was a good time. So when I was out shooting, it actually had brought back those wonderful memories, and I actually felt closer to my dad at that time when I was out shooting. Now, I am not a person that's a basketball player. I'm more of a football guy. You ask me football players, what year, what teams, all these other things, I can tell you that stuff. I like playing. Basketball, I can't even tell you all the basketball teams. I'm sorry, I'm that guy. I just don't know basketball. I'm like, if somebody could go, hey, what basketball team do you like? Is that the team that hits with the hockey stick? Is that, no, that's hot. Yeah, that's right. I just have no clue. So it's funny that this is the path I go through, and this is the path that I'm using for healing, But like I said, it healed a lot with stuff going on with my father. And then the other thing that I had found out was is that as people got to know that I was there at the basketball court, it was pretty amazing. I told Dina when it first started, there were some teenagers that like to play. And as soon as they see me show up, they go to half court. And they're going to be like 15 guys. And they're like, half court. I'm like, no, not just for me. You guys don't have to go. And they're like, no, we insist. And it was cool that they encouraged me. But I started having people that would show up and start shooting with me. And they just, it just started happening where they'd start pouring things out in their life to me, stuff they're going through. It became kind of a safe spot. And people knew that if they had something going on in their life, they could just stop by and talk with me. And it actually drove me and made me want to keep getting out there at 9 o'clock every night, because now it was like, these people know I'm there. I don't want to not be there and then somebody show up wanting to talk with me. And it just started turning into that. And it became a thing where I was looking at the basketball court as almost as I could talk about it, like a sanctuary, almost as a reverent place. I found myself picking up anything on any small trash that was around the basketball court every night. I'd make sure it was all picked up. It's not my job, but they had guys that would come the next day, but I still wanted to make sure it was cleaned up, things like that. And it was just amazing. And the connection, and so many people got to know who I was, and I got to know them. And it turned into a thing where I even had a guy that I had talked to, and it's in my book, so I'm not going to ruin the whole thing, but it was in my book, and I talk about, there was a guy that had just gone through a separation with his wife, lost his wife, his kids, everything was turned upside down in his life, and he was very drunk, and he was ready. I didn't know it at the time, but I was there for him and talked, and then he told me later that he was ready to end his life that night. He had a loaded gun, and he was ready to do it. He is, a few more shots of whiskey, and it would have been done. I was ready to just end it. And it's amazing. He showed up to my house with a brand new basketball for me, and he said, "Hey, I want you to have this new basketball." And and that's when he told me what had happened, and it was absolutely, just like I said, humbling and amazing. I've had people that have brought their families to the basketball court just to introduce me to their wife or their kids. They're saying, "Hey, I just wanted people to know who you were, and this is my wife, this is my kids." Very cool. To see all of the transformations that happened with that, and then getting to know people in the community, and that was something I'd lost touch of. So that got to heal me with being a part of the community. I got to heal others, and it was just something absolutely amazing. And then one of the things that happened is, once that guy brought me that basketball, I had actually decided to retire the original basketball. Got to get some air in this. This thing was actually sitting in my car, and it's 10 million degrees in Phoenix. So it's got a little air missing in it. But what I did was I retired this basketball, and what I decided to do was start getting pictures with people that were shooting with me and have them autograph this basketball. And as you see, this thing is, trying to get the camera, loaded with signatures all over the place with this. And there are tons of pictures that are, I see, the hair's out of that, forgive me on this. It didn't want to show up to the interview. And King Henry, I have to point out King Henry. This is kind of backwards on here, but King Henry, this was a young man that actually, when Dina and her husband came to shoot, came running up and started talking to me, "Hey, JD," and everything. So it was pretty cool. It was impressive to bring them in, and then kind of be like the celebrity where everybody knows who I am and says, "Hi," and shouts my name. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal around here. Yeah, it's kind of my.
It's cool. And it's a cool community where they have like tennis courts and basketball courts, and like people are out there at night because it's Arizona and it's hot during the day, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So this turned into an entirely different thing than I ever imagined it would be from the get-go. And now I'm doing a series on with basketball and other things like that. It's not just about basketball, it's that I want to encourage other people out there. For anyone that feels like you're at a point where you can't anymore, where maybe you're in a wheelchair, maybe you've been diagnosed with something and they're telling you you can't do this anymore, or you're just so used to something in life that you have just kind of forgotten about that, or you go, I'm too old, or I'm one thing or another. One of the reasons I chose basketball was because it was very simple. I can stand there and take a shot, and if I get tired, I can just go sit down. And then I'll get back up and take a shot when I feel less winded or feel again. If you're restricted, I mean, it could just be something like tossing a frisbee. It can be something, anything that you have fun with. And that's what I want. A lot of times when we think getting back into shape, we're thinking, like we talked about earlier, something grueling where I have to do all of this other stuff. No, it's just get out there and start having a little bit of fun. Rekindle with your youth. Have that fun. Bring that kid back that had been kind of shoved away for so long. And it's amazing. You will be surprised at the amazing results that happen in your life. So I really want to encourage that, and I'm putting this program together right now to help other people to start doing that. And I really want to see a movement happen where people are taking their lives back, because you deserve to have the life you want.
Yeah, that is true. Very true. Well, thank you for sharing, JD. I want to give you a chance to tell people about this link I'm going to put up and what they'll find there, how they can connect with you.
Oh, not that link.
So
Yes.
what's here?
So
It's a
this
QR
link
code.
that she's putting, what she just put up, this is the QR code. This is our app, GPS to Life Success. It's something I've been working on for a couple of years and putting together. Dina has actually been with me since day one when I first came up with this idea. And this will take you to the direct links where you can download this. It's in the Apple and the Google Play Store. You can go on there. I'm going to have galleries with different people that I've got pictures with and some of the stories that I'm going to share on there. And we have different programs that are on there that can help people out wherever you're at in life. We have a jumpstart program that it's exactly what it is. It's like right now you feel like you're stagnant in life and you're not going the way you want to. Well, we have a quick program that can help you and get going. And we built, basically we built this community for you, and it's by utilizing this app. So the app is absolutely free. You can get on there, get started with things, and then to be a part of the community, it does cost a small fee, but it's something where you're going to be able to interact, and you have people that are accountable with you and to really help you through life to go forward. And my whole philosophy is that we're in this world together, and we need to be lifting each other up. And that is, I stand by that all the time, and that's what I really want to do, is help each person out there move forward in life. And so I've designed the tools to be able to do that.
Thank you, JD. You have many inspirational stories, and I hope people will check out the app and download it, because there's a lot of valuable information there and a lot of community, like Jeremy said. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for allowing me to be here and being a part of this amazing opportunity to change lives. And so thank you for everything you do, all the hard work you put in to create what you have created for so many people. And you haven't done it to try and make money or anything like that. You have done it because you truly want to change lives. And that's what makes it so amazing to be a part of.
Thank you so much.